Nice. So let's start today revision of FOM2. And due to lack of time, you know that FOM2 is an OR module. And as in the exam, you get 60 questions. So they will cover a lot of topics. In this event, then I'm not that ambitious to cover all of the FOM2, but just focus on some um, key topics that may attract the most attention and maybe the most confusing question in this module. Previously, like back in 2019 and 2020, then FM2 was really, it was really a challenge. It has very low pass rate, and I think that the question here tend to be confusing. But in recent exams, and the results are improving. Our students are becoming more confident and more familiar with FM2 questions. Overall, then the questions here tend to be quite basic, and they tend to follow some well-defined model. So it is not that challenging anymore. And with today's event, I only am focusing on some topic like about the business case, about the budget and cash flow, and the questions about those topics as well. About the industry analysis, the start of chapter 2, about two different market analysis tools, including the product life cycle and the author's file process. About the specification, especially two types of specification, conformance and performance, and finally the methods to improve the specification, about standardization, value analysis, value engineering. During my presentation, then there will be some questions that may ignite some discussion. And if you want to discuss with us, you may put it in the chat, or you may raise your hand and we may allow you to enable your microphone. Sorry, we need to mute all of you upon the entry because we want to ensure that the discussion today is not disrupted by any unnecessary noise. I hope that you understand this, and thank you for joining our revision event. Okay, so as you can see, then we have a list of topics that we may discuss today, and I hope that we can do this within 1 hour. Okay, so let's go into the detail. First, we will see the business case and the use of business case within procurement. That is the first topic that you may see from study guide about devising a business case, and it takes calculate a significant part of chapter 1 to talk about this. Okay, so basically, the business case is a document that is prepared by procurement to convey the ideas and data about certain projects or about certain budgets. And it is just a document, so its major objective is to communicate with the stakeholders about the pros and cons of some project or of some budgets. And it also shows the results from research by procurement. Okay, we may need to look at different options. We may need to look at different suppliers in the market and then summarize them within the business case and submit it or present it to the stakeholders so that they may have a better overview of the matter, and they may support our um, purchase or support our project. So the business case may facilitate the communication, and especially when it comes to complex projects like with construction or purchase of some IT services, like purchase the ERP software or some systemic software like that. With this system, with this document, then you may have your time to consider about different options, about different available options in the market, and convey your idea about how the purchase should be going. Second, then the business case would demonstrate the procurement ability in researching, in solving the problem, and improve the procurement position within the organization. It shows the proactiveness of procurement and the ability to make the decision. Okay, so you see that if you do it well, then business case may improve your position, may improve your advance in within the organization. However, then with the purpose of the exam, then we need to look at different questions that may appear here. Okay, so with the business case, then I majorly see two types of questions. The first question would be about potential benefits of a business case, like they may have a scenario, and within the scenario, then a procurement professional may want to prepare a business case, and they may ask that, like, what would be the benefit of this, or what could be the purpose of this approach? Okay, and the correct answer would be about the communication, or would be about let other stakeholders to consider about different options within the market. And another question would be about potential sections within a business case, So typically within a business case, then we need to summarize about the objectives and alignment between the business case and the company directions or objectives. And then we may consider about different options, their costs and benefits, and also about the implementation plan as well. And within this one, we may have some other questions about the payback period as a method of cost and benefit analysis. So payback period is one way to analyze the cost and benefit. Like we compare the investment and the expected benefit per period, and then we take the initial investment divided by the expected period, and then we get the number or the duration that we need to recover the initial investment. And that number may indicate about, like, should we commit ourselves to this project or not. Okay, the second topic, also very important and attract pretty many questions about the about the cash flow, the impact of cash flow and on the budget and the budget variance. Okay, so first thing about cash flow. If you are working in a private sector organization, then the cash flow, sometimes they can call it as the king. Cash is king because cash is the most liquid asset that you may use to convert into any asset. And the success of business nowadays is measured by the cash flow. The more, the better. Okay, the more positive, the better. So as the procurement, then you need to understand about the cash flow, and you need to understand how to support your organization to improve their cash flow. Within the study guide, they introduce the cash flow cycle, especially in the purchase. Like we place the purchase order, we receive the materials or other components and go into the production, and then we get the finished product and then put them into inventory. And during that period, then we may pay the suppliers. And after a while, then our products can be sold, and we receive the payment. We receive the payment. Okay, so within this cycle, you see that there are some cash in and cash out, cash in and cash out, right? So we need to pay the supplier, that is cash out. We receive payment, the cash in, right? And balance between the cash in and cash out maybe not the task, not the major task of procurement, but as an employee, then we need to ensure that the organization may harness from better payment term with the supplier. Here, it is required that you need to understand some financial and accounting term. And to test your ability with this area, then I have a question. Okay, so which of the following may have negative impact on a business cash flow? And you need to select two correct answer. Okay, option A is supplier provide goods with payment term on credit. Option B, financial institutions decrease the interest rate on loans. Option C, the client prolong the duration of debt. D, the company under its cutting approach for higher depreciation figure. And E, business purchase more inventory. You need to select two options that have negative impact on the cash flow. So take your time and let me know your answer in the chat.
Recording in progress.
Okay, I'm seeing the answer coming. Yeah, so let's see that. Big key, select C and A. And other people select C and E. Patricia, CNA. Okay, my pillow, ANC. Okay, so you are absolutely confident about C. And some students may argue about A, some students may argue about E. All right, just continue. Okay, and thank you, Roland. Roland even argues for not A as the correct answer. So to solve this question, then you need to understand some difference accounting term. Okay, we have some word like credit. We have some word like depreciation. Okay, and yeah, that kind of thing. With the word credit, it means that in this certain scenario, then it means that the supplier allow us to purchase without any upfront payment or without um without any payment at the moment. Okay, they agree that they allow us to pay later. That is payment term on credit. Okay, and with option A, then since they allow us to have like a delayed payment, so that's a good thing, as Roland said. And that is not the negative one. The negative one would be C, as everyone selects, and E, because when we purchase more inventories, then we have like double impact. First, we need to pay more to the suppliers. Okay, maybe not at the moment, but in the future, that is the first impact. Second, when you purchase more inventories, then you also need to pay more cost. You need to you incur more cost to store them within the warehouse. And as you know, if you have learned from 7, then that could be quite significant. And the holding cost is not free. Holding inventory is not free. So the correct answer here would be C and E. Okay, I want to see feedback from our student. Yeah, okay, thank you very much. And I see that we have very productive discussion about the different impact of different matter to the business. So with this question, then the correct answer would be C and E, say about potential negative impact on the cash flow. With the cash flow, then motto here would be about first, if you want to improve your cash flow, then just shorten your collection, your collection of payment from your customer. Okay, that's the first one. Second, delay the payment as long as possible to the supplier. However, then they will not love this, and that may have impact on the relationship, and you need to consider this carefully. And third, another way to improve the cash flow and also the working capital is to manage your inventory closely and don't let them become redundant or obsolescent. That's the third way, and also very efficient way to improve your cash flow as well. So if you see any question like this, then you need to analyze, okay, whether this one has the impact like delay the payment or prolong payment, or does this have any impact at all? For example, with option D, okay, the complete answer is accounting approach or higher depreciation figure. It means that they may change the method to calculate their depreciation. However, then depreciation is known as a non-cash expense, so it doesn't have any impact on the cash flow at all. Okay, so it is not relevant to the cash flow, right? And let's move on other part about the different types of budget variance. Budget variance. Okay, so with the budget, then it serves many purposes. It serves as a way to control. It serves as a way to plan, and it serves as a way to continuous improve. And however, as like with any plan, then we cannot like follow them exactly 100%. But there would be some deviation from the plan. And one way to control your budget is to monitor the variance. As long as or as soon as you see the variance, then you may adjust your behavior accordingly. Like when you see that you are overspending and it is just a half the period, then you may adjust your behavior. You may cut down on your spend and cut down any unnecessary one. Okay, so controlling the budget is very important, and the constant monitoring would be required for any budget. And with budget variance, depending on the type expense, then it could be caused by different reasons. By understanding the reasons behind the variance, then we may have better adjustment and better improvement in the future. For procurement, then we are often responsible for the budget over purchasing something. Therefore, we have some type of variance here, okay, mostly about the expenses and not about the revenue. Okay, so the expenses maybe include the direct material, include the overhead or indirect expenses, or include the labor. Actually, then labor variance is not part of procurement job. It should be of HR and accounting, but in the study guide, they just list there. And it is also one of the expenses. So maybe we are related some way. For the exam, then this topic may attract some questions like about what may cause or what are the reasons behind the budget variance for some matter, like with the direct material, then two major reasons for budget variance would be about the price of each price and the quantity of purchase. And this one is pretty simple. Like when you have a budget and you need to purchase kind of like direct material or components or your company, then the variance absolutely caused by two things. First, the unit price. If the unit price fluctuates over time, then of course our budget is not exactly anymore. It is not exact anymore, and it have some kind of like deviation. Second, then when we purchase more or less than we planned, then it also causes the variance. The thing is, with these variances, then it is part of the improvement cycle. So if you understand the reason behind the variance, then it is much better than just controlling yourself. Okay, like you see that the variance is caused by more quantity than expected, then you need to investigate why do we have like we need to purchase more quantity. Is that by increased sales? So we need to purchase more material. If that is the case, then the variance is a good thing. It shows that we are growing in revenue. But if we just purchase more quantity to compensate for the lost inventory, then it is not a good thing. It shows some kind of like problems within our operations, and we need to purchase more to compensate the loss. Okay, not cool, not a good thing. Similarly, then the budget variance could be tracked for labor expenses and overhead expenses. Similar to direct material with labor expense, we also have two major reasons for the variance. It could be about the rate per hour or the like the payment per hour for one labor, or about the productivity. This one is so quite similar to the direct material with the rate per hour. It's kind of like a basic unit price for the labor. It is measured by taking the number from hourly rate per labor. Like in my country, then the standard one for professional worker would be about like $1 per hour. Okay, pretty cheap. It could be varied from country to country, and if you understand if you understand the labor market, then you have that exact number. And second, about the productivity, it means that if the worker is more productive, then he can finish his job within shorter period of time. And if he's not productive, he needs more time to complete a task. So the productivity here is just a description for the duration of time a worker on duty. Okay, like whether we need more time to finish a certain task, or whether we need less time for a certain task. That is productivity. And overall, then productivity here is same as the quantity. Like it is measured by the number of hours that we need to finish a task. And finally, with the overhead, then we also have two reasons for the variance. It could be about the volume. Like, do we need more expense or do we need um, more quantity for this certain type of expense? And the second reason would be about the expenditure, like maybe higher rate for rent of the office or higher rate for rent of factory. Okay, that's also simple. The exam would ask you about the reasons behind the variance, and I think that this question is not challenging at all. Okay, just remembering that there are always two reasons behind some kind of variance for each type of expense. We shall move on with the with other parts in chapter 2. First, about the industry analysis, or you need to identify some certain industry from the description. And on my screen, I'm showing that there are two descriptions and some options at the bottom. Okay, among the options, we have the services, finance, FMCG, agriculture, construction, and mining. Okay, so I have two descriptions here. I think that I need to number them. The first one, okay, I need to grab this. Okay, I think that I need to number them. The first one are industry A. Or company A. And this one is company B. The task here is to identify the industry for these companies. Okay, from the following description. With company A, then they need to adopt the responsive production process. Okay, so like some very serious and very professional. They also need to invest much money in brand and marketing. And their product life cycle tend to be short. With company B, they use a lot of casual labor. They have very poor reputation on the environmental impact, like they emit a lot of CO2 or carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. And the industry is famous for stagnated productivity. Okay, your task here is to identify which industry these companies are operating in from the option here: services, finance, FMCG, agriculture, construction, and mining. So I think that let you, I should let some time for you to start a discussion. Just type down your own idea or opinion to the chat. Okay, so let's do this. I think that this question attracts a lot of different ideas, and as I can see from the chat. Okay, the thing is, the ideas are varied, many ideas. And I know that there are some students would be confused with the word FMCG. It is an abbreviation for fast moving consumer good. Thank you, Rose, for the clarification, and Percy as well. I'm still seeing more comments coming. All right. Let's solve this question. Okay. Let's solve one by one. First, with company A, we have some descriptions. Responsive production process. All right. So the keyword here include the production process, and the word, the whole word, this compound word looks pretty professional and technical. We may not know the meaning yet, but we may guess first with the production process. So this must be manufacturing or to apply subcategory of manufacturing. Second, high investment in brand. High investment in brand. Okay, so it also looks suspicious and maybe giving very important hint. And third, short product life cycle. Okay, it means that they need to launch new product almost constantly, and they need to create and market new product like from time to time or weekly, monthly, because of short product life cycle. All right, and we have some options. Services. Okay, this one should be strike out. This one should be strike out because we have the responsive production process. It means it must be manufacturing, not services. Finance, no. Finance is just another service. FMCG, possibly. Agriculture. Okay, in agriculture, we don't need investment in brand because they produce commodity, and brand is not that important because the product here can be sold without any specific brand, except some notable cases like about wine or some specialty, but normally, then we don't need high investment. And even with the specialty or wine, then they are already famous and they don't need heavy investment in brand. Okay, and furthermore, the agriculture product is kept like very persistent, and they offer a pretty long product life cycle. Because basically they are the most basic things in human life. So they don't need much kind of like innovation or uh, marketing things to be afloat. Okay, because they are the basic thing, the basic needs for human society. With construction, okay, maybe it has the production process, but its product has very long life cycle, and the investment in brand is not that great. They focus more on investment in machinery and labor rather than the brand. You don't see any ads on TV on construction company. That's simple. And with mining, also, just like with agriculture, it has very long product life cycle because mining produce the commodities. So they don't need marketing. They don't need long product. Sorry, they don't need to invest in brand. They need to invest in the equipment, but not the brand. So after considering different options, and I think that the fast moving consumer good or FMCG is the best match here. Okay, so this one, FMCG, it is a word for a subcategory of manufacturing, and in fact, you may search for it on Google. Okay, FMCG. It is the abbreviation for fast-moving consumer good, and it is a kind of like a subcategory of manufacturing. They still need to manufacture, and these things are consumer goods. So the product would be sold within a supermarket or within any retail store. Okay, they include a huge categories like shampoos, beauty products, and so on. They normally they are normally sold at low cost. Okay, and we consume them like every day, and they have very high turnover. It means that they can be sold very quick and turn into quick cash. This group include mostly food, um, like soft drink, beverage, and some other category like shampoo, um, beauty products, and so on. Okay, you see that? Food, processed food, prepared meal, beverage, dry food, medicine, especially that will require prescription, cleaning, cosmetic, and even office supply. Okay, that is the definition of fast-moving consumer good. And within this industry, then they need to produce in large quantity. And also the brand is very important because the consumer, not like professional buyers, they don't have time to compare between different products. So they may rely mostly their decision on their no on their knowledge of the brand. So it absolutely requires high investment in the brand. And about the part of responsive production process, it means that because they need to produce in large quantity and almost instantly, so they need to, and furthermore, the demand for this one is not stable, especially this industry is highly competitive. So they need to adapt and respond quickly to customer demand. Maybe during some period, then certain type of product would have very high demand, but during another time, then the requirements would be very low. So they need to adjust and responsive to the customer demand and movement in the market. It also means that this market has very huge fluctuation, especially regarding the demand. So they need to be more responsive. Uh, Finally, for certain categories of MCG, then they have pretty short product life cycle. Okay, because the competitors may launch new product like periodically, so they also need to adapt and launch new product. Okay, from time to time. With company B, okay, it uses a lot of casual labor. It has bad environmental impact and it has stagnated productivity. With this discussion, then I see that there would be three potential candidates. Agriculture, okay, also use a lot of casual labor, especially for harvesting. It also famous for poor environmental impact, like with soybean or with uh, cattle. Then they use a very huge swath of land, and that may cause the deforestation and the movement of these agricultural products may have very poor impact on the environment. Construction also fit into this category and also mining. But one thing that set one industry apart, that is stagnated productivity. With the word stagnated productivity, then it means that this industry has not seen great innovation recently. Okay, and to further demonstrate my point here, I think that it is the best you need to look at the certain statistic. Okay, we need to compare the productivity growth of agriculture, of construction, and mining. Okay, compare between three different industry here. All right, so let's see. Productivity growth in agriculture. And let's look at some figure. Okay, you see this one, although applied to the US, but I think that it is the same for other countries. You see that the input is static or even reduced a bit, but the total output is still increasing at persistent pace, and the productivity has increased about 3 times from 1948 until now. Okay, so not kind of like stagnated. They are still growing, okay, with steady pace. Let's see with mining. Okay, with mining, then the productivity has declined recently. Okay, this is the data from McKinsey, and it will show that the productivity is somewhat stagnated. Mining absolutely match into the um, description here. Okay, they have stagnated productivity problem. And finally, construction. Okay, we base our decision on hard data. So let's see. So we may strike out the agriculture. They still have very steady growth in productivity, but with mining, they have stagnated productivity. Let's see with construction. Okay, and this is the figure from financial, sorry, the Economist and McKinsey. McKinsey. So you see that agriculture absolutely not stagnated at all. Manufacturing not stagnated. The thing is the construction they are decreasing. So just like with mining, construction also face the problem of productivity stagnation. Okay, they are not growing in the productivity, and that is not a good thing. Okay, so company B, it could be construction or mining. However, then with the then they don't give you the option of mining, so must be construction. Okay, actually, I base these descriptions on real exam questions, and if you can identify the correct industry here, then you can absolutely finish the exam with this kind of question with ease. All right, so you see that here to finish the exam, you not just you are not just required to finish the study guide. You're not just required to read the book, but you also need to update the recent trend. You need to read some economic newspaper, right? And update the recent trend so that you understand what is happening in the market, and you may have very broad knowledge of the economy, so that the exam would be a lot easier. Okay, so through this exercise, I'm showing that not just reading study guide, but we need to learn from other sources like newspaper and statistics. Okay, for this particular question, right? This is a question about different industry, and in the exam, then you may see 2 or 3 questions like this. Okay, and now there's the answer. Let's continue with other part of chapter 2 about market analysis. In F1 2, then they introduce 2 market analysis tools. First, the portfolio forces, and second, the product life cycle. The thing is, they are introduced to improve the like Cips wants to improve your skill in market analysis. Although these tools were made with other purposes, but we may use them in analyzing the supply market and provide more helpful information for our decision. With portfolio forces, originally, then it is a tool for strategy analysis or industry analysis. It analyzes the competitiveness and predict the average profitability within a market, like within the airline or within a retail market. Then there are 5 forces, and they may shape the competitiveness and shape the average the average profitability of the market. Anyone who may outcompete other players, then they may attract higher profitability and better market share. But with procurement, then the use here is a bit different. We use this for analyzing the supply market, and we use this from the perspective of the customer. Look back at the market. Okay, we stay here in the customer, right? Here in the customer, and we look at our supplier here. Yeah, this one. Okay, this is our supplier. They compete with each other, with their rivals, with their competitors. They may have the threat of new entrants. They may have the threat of substitution products, and they wield the bargaining power of supplier as well. Okay, and with this model, then the use is that we look at different determinants of each force and decide their strength. For example, then with the rivalry, then there would be some determinants like the number of rivals, the differentiation among them, the barrier to exist. When a company cannot exist the market with ease, then they are stuck within the market. They are stuck within the market, and they need to compete more fiercely, okay, to attract enough or acceptable profitability. So that is the barrier to exist, and they may increase the intensity of the rivalry. With the new entrant, then the determinants can be called the barriers to entry. Barriers to entry. The factors would include the economy of scale or the customer loyalties. With economy of scale, it means that whether the current player or the current competitors are reaching a certain level of production, that their cost per unit would be the lowest. It would be the lowest. That is economy of scale. There'll be other barrier to entry, like the capital requirements or the regulations on the qualification and so on. And one factor that you may see, like viciously, that is the switching cost. The switching cost here means that whether the buyer whether the buyer incur much cost to switch from one supplier to another one. Okay, you can imagine that when we are purchasing from a certain supplier, and we want to switch to a better one, then we need to arrange the termination of contract. We need to find a new supplier, and then we need to contract them. So that type of process incurs some cost, and the cost could be economic or it could be psychological. So if the switching cost is high, then the buyer may be more reluctant to switch from one supplier to another. And when the switching cost is high, then the power of the buyer would be lower. Okay, would be lower. And within each force, they have different determinants. The different thing is that not every Cips student study economics, or they have some background in business management before. So some of these terminologies could be unfamiliar to them. Okay, something like the barrier to exist or the economy scale. There are different terminology, and it could cause some kind of like confusion with Cips students. So the thing is, when you feel confused about some factors or some determinants, then it's the best that you need to go online. You need to search them on Google and read about. For example, with new entrant, then one of the very important determinant is the economy scale. To understand economy scale, then you need to do your own research. Okay, it is kind of like a certain state of production where the production per unit would be the lowest. Okay, imagine that you purchase a piece of equipment to produce like 10,000 bottle plastic bottle, but um your customer demand is only like 4,000, so you have excess capacity. That is a waste. But if your customer has a demand for like 9,000 bottles or even 11,000 bottles, so you may fully leverage your equipment here, and the cost per bottle would be the lowest because every depreciation of the machine would be allocated into each bottle, and when the fixed cost is allocated to the maximum capacity, then of course we have very low cost per unit. Okay, that is the economy of scale. Economy of scale. Okay, this is very important notion, and you need to understand that. All right, and with the Potter's by forces, then you need to understand different forces and their determinants. And in the exam, the question is not difficult. It just requires you to understand the keyword and the terminology. So here, I'll not advise anything, but just to try to understand everything. Okay, with whatever terminology that you don't understand from study guide, you need to search them in Google and then read about them. Okay, that is the way that you may solve this kind of question. With the second tool, the product life cycle, it is not a procurement tool. It is essentially a marketing tool. It divides the life cycle, the life of a product into 4 phases or 4 stages: introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. And with each stage, then we have different strategy for marketing. Okay, you see that on my screen, the word, the 4 life cycle stages and their marketing implications. So the thing is, with marketing, they are trying to sell the product, but with procurement, we are trying to buy the product. And with each stage, they may have different ways to sell product, like setting better price or trying to make their brand more attractive. And similarly, from outside, from the side buyer, we need to purchase the product at the most favorable price. So based on these stages, then you may decide like what could be their strategy for marketing and what could be our strategy for buying. First of all, at the introduction stage, then the supplier may sell product by using a skimming strategy or by using the penetration strategy. By using skimming, they may set up high price first and then lower over time to compensate for their very high investment in the marketing and in in research and development. But over time, then they may learn better. They may reach the economy of scale and they may lower their price. With penetration, then they set up very low price to attract new customer. And then over time, when they need to compensate for their loss, they need to rise price. Okay, so with product life cycle, we need to understand the impact on marketing strategy, especially about the pricing strategy. Okay, and one of the most important topic of F1 2 is about the specification. I may say that calculate out of 60 questions in F1 2, then there would be about like 20 questions about specification or related to specification. They are quite significant on third of the exam. Please wait. Okay, they may take like 1/3 of the exam based on their popularity. So here I just give you some typical questions of the specification. The first type would be yes, no, whether we should use conformance or performance specification in this certain scenario. In this kind of question, then there will be an organization, they have some problem, they are about to use like conformance specification or performance specification. And the question is whether this is a good decision or not. And the second question would be about the content or potential advantages, disadvantages of conformance and performance specification. Here, I believe that all students here understand what is the specification and what are the types and what could be the implication of these types. With specification, then we have with the content, then we have some appropriate option like with the brand name, the standards, or the function. I believe that you understand what is conformance and what is performance. And for each type, like with conformance, then they may include the dimension, size, color, material, the way to process, and maybe about the brand name or standard. With performance, then they based on the outcome, output, or function or statement of work. Okay, so you may easily identify the content within each type. And with the first type question about yes no question, then I think that we may have some way to identify the correct answer. Here on my slide, I just distinguish the use case for each type of specification. With conformance, then it's the best to use with the direct material or direct components because the component and material need to be fitted into a certain system, into a certain product. So they need to be designed exactly. They need to be designed exactly. And especially for the case of health safety, then the components or the parts should be designed specifically with high standard. And fortunately for us, the most materials and components could have some kind of standard. They could be referenced from the catalog so that we don't need to spend much time on designing them. With performance, they're the best for purchasing the innovative or creative product. Okay, especially the product that we don't have any example for the market, and it's the first. It's the first. So we may need to design it, or ask the supplier to design it for us. And another use of performance would be that we want to encourage the substitution rather than just purchasing a certain product, and that product is supplied by some monopoly power. So to find some substitution and improve our position, then we may use performance and switch to the substitution, and also encourage the new entrants to this market. So here, I would like to give you some keyword when you want to decide the correct answer in certain scenario. With conformance, and the concern would be about the fitting of the product, the fitting of the component or materials, or we may need to use the standard here. With performance, then it prioritize the innovation, creativity, substitution, new entrants, okay, improve the buyer's power when negotiate with the monopoly supplier, and so on. And finally, when we have some kind of specification, but we want to improve them, then we need to have some method. We need to apply some method like standardization, value analysis, or value engineering. Standardization is a very helpful process, but not everyone understands it well. Like we set a standard, or we like set a standard for everything within that line, or everything within that product. Like we standardize the parts so that it become easier to produce, or we may reduce the varieties of that product. Okay, so standardization may lead to some benefits, like it may reduce cost due to better economy of scale, just I said earlier. And it may provide more consistent quality, okay, better customer satisfaction. And one of the benefits that the exam want to emphasize would be about reducing the varieties, especially when the product is very complex and it contains a lot of parts. Standardization may have the organization to reduce those varieties and simplify the supply chain, and better for measurement. With value analysis and value engineering, then they are both way to improve the offering, to improve some product. Value analysis could be applied to the current product, and value engineering can be applied to new product development. But anyway, then they are the way to improve the offering and increase customer satisfaction. Okay, the difference only about whether about current product or new product. Okay, so that's all for today's revision, and I think that it goes a little bit beyond our set time. Anyway, then as some dedicated Cips training provider, then we offer some services to cater different needs of Cips students. We have a YouTube channel, and we have practice question on Udemy. So to support us, then you may follow us on YouTube or purchase from Udemy or from purchase our practice questions from Udemy. And I believe that you would be certified from our services. And if you have any question, then you may submit through our email, our website, or to our WhatsApp. Okay, so for today, our revision ends here. And I hope that we may have other productive sessions about different modules. Okay, we regularly organize the revision sessions on every Saturday about different modules, and especially about the one that we feel the most challenging. Thank you again for joining today, and I hope to see you again next week. And we shall send you the recording by Monday. Okay, after we come back to work. All right, thank you very much, and see you later.